Well, Donald Trump has raised concerns over banning TikTok, saying it would only serve to empower Facebook. In 2020, the former president unsuccessfully tried to have the social media site removed from the app stores in the US. In an interview on Monday, Mr. Trump acknowledged that TikTok is still a national security risk, but doesn't agree with a proposed ban.
A lot of good, and there's a lot of bad with TikTok. But the thing I don't like is that without TikTok, you can make Facebook bigger. And I consider Facebook to be an enemy of the people, along with a lot of the media. When I look at it, I'm not looking to make Facebook double the size. And if you ban TikTok, Facebook and others, but mostly Facebook will be a big beneficiary. I think Facebook has been very bad for our country, especially when it comes to elections.
That is certainly a salient point, especially to us here in Australia at the moment. Joining me live is former White House Chief of Staff and now Bondi Partners consultant Mick Mulvaney. Mick, great to see you. What are the politics behind this? Because Trump has kind of flip-flopped on TikTok.
Yeah, Laura, the politics on this are pretty simple in this country. Donald Trump hates Mark Zuckerberg. Period. End of story. He hates
right. Clear.
And Mark Zuckerberg hates Donald Trump. So you and I have talked before about how Donald Trump bases a lot of his decision-making based on personal relationships. He liked Scott Morrison, and he enjoyed working with Scott Morrison. He didn't like Angela Merkel, so he did enjoy working with her. He can't stand Mark Zuckerberg. So a lot of this is personal animus and has very little to do with any of the national security policies that other countries have dealt with. Keep in mind, this is the president who banned Huawei from 5G in the United States and sent us all around the world to spread that message, and then tried to ban TikTok globally in the United States, at least nationwide in the United States, back in 2020. So clearly this is a turnaround, and my guess is it has to do with personal animus towards Mark Zuckerberg.
Right. Okay. Clear. There was a little Australian note in Joe Biden's speech the other day. I just want to show our viewers what he had to say.
I've revitalized our partnership and alliance in the Pacific. India, Australia, Japan, South Korea, Pacific Islands. I've made sure that the most advanced American technologies can't be used in China, not allowing to trade them there. Frankly, for all this tough talk on China, it never occurred to my predecessor to do any of that.
That was a little nod to Australia there, just in case you missed it. It was during the State of the Union address. This happens on an annual basis. And Mick, these are speeches that are written and rewritten and gone over for months in advance. But this was off script. What do you make of that?
It was just fascinating. I had a Democrat friend of mine send me the last version of the script, the text of the speech. So I was reading along during the speech, and all the stuff about China and about banning trade and so forth is in the speech. But the specific reference to Australia and the other countries is not there. And to me, as a former White House insider, that's fascinating. The negotiations within an administration over what goes in the speech takes weeks. We used to fight over whether or not a topic would get 2 lines in the speech or 3 lines in the speech. That's the level of detail that administrations pay to this particular State of the Union. Keep in mind, this is after the football games, after the Super Bowl, this is the largest television event in the country this year. Nearly 50 million people will watch this. And it's one of the rare times that people who don't follow politics actually watch a politician. So this is a big deal. The fact that the Australia-Japan language got in there at the last moment tells me the president insisted on it. This wasn't him shooting from the cuff. It wasn't him sort of making stuff up as he goes. Clearly, they made a late addition to that to specifically identify those partner countries in Asia, and I thought that was fascinating.
When you say this is a late edition, how do we know that? Does the press corps get a copy as a speech as it's being delivered so they can, so as far as the White House is concerned, they can get their reporting accurate?
That's exactly what it is. I had a Democrat friend of mine send me the speech about 5 minutes before it started. So everybody
Right.
thought that was the last version. They may have added that language in the car on the way over. That's how long these negotiations go. But again, it goes, we talk a lot about this program, about the relationship between Australia and the US, and folks always ask me, how's it going? How's the future look and so forth. The simple fact that the President of the United States would make this late change to specifically identify an ally and a friend, I think goes a long way to explaining to people in ordinary terms how important the relationship is.
Yeah, certainly. Just finally, before I let you go for this week, I had a really important friend to me say that he thinks Joe Biden is going to win come November, and I was really surprised to hear that from this person, because politics is so tribal in the US. What do you think about that prediction?
I still think it's a 51-49 kind of race. It's going to come down to those same 5 or 6 states that we've talked about. It depends on the day. The speech went very well. Joe Biden went up in many polls after the speech. So on the day after the speech, Democrats feel very, very good about it. If he has a bad day tomorrow, though, all of the goodwill that came up from the speech is going to be gone very, very quickly. So he doesn't have a very deep base of support. Look, this race is going to go back and forth several times. It will be the longest general election in the history of our country. This is the earliest that both parties have picked their nominees in history.
Wow.
So it's going to be an unusual race, and it's going to go back and forth many times. With plenty of stuff for us to talk about for the next couple of weeks.
Absolutely, and I can't wait. Many chats with you, Mick Mulvaney, on and off the air. Looking forward to it. We'll see you soon.